Good morning. Welcome to the... Hello. Okay, good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Princeton, where in our open and welcoming community, we live our message of hope, love, justice, and joy. We extend a special welcome to our visitors this morning. We're glad you're here and invite you to stop by our welcome table after worship in Robinson Lounge so that we can answer your questions and get to know you a little bit. Again, welcome to our congregation. We're very happy you have joined us. We have many announcements this morning, not a few, so many, but they're all good ones. Great, okay. So let's start. This Wednesday at 7 p.m., we'll hold an evening Vesper service titled Honoring Loss at This Season. It will be a peaceful time and to hold the grief that accompanies many of us through the holidays. The service will be in person here in Channing Hall and with a Zoom option, so keep an eye out on your email for the link. And please invite anyone who might find this kind of service helpful during this season. All are welcome. Our tree trimming holiday party will be Saturday, December 9th. This is coming up, 5 to 8 p.m. Please, please, please RSVP and sign up to volunteer on the website so that we know how many guests to prepare for. There will be dinner, dessert, tree decorating, music, merriment, and a playful white elephant gift exchange that you can opt into. It will be a lot of fun, I promise. It's free for all ages, members, and guests. Also, our hanging of the greens is the morning after the holiday party. So if you'd like to add your personal touch to our very lovely garland with greens from home, please feel free to bring them with you to drop off before the holiday party on Saturday. Or you can bring them in the morning. You could just throw them in, that's fine. All greens are welcome here. An invitation from our Racial Justice Ministry. We're planning a congregational book reading this January and February. The book is titled Dismantling the Racism Machine by Karen Gaffney. We'll start on January 14th with a workshop led by the author, and then have a weekly small group discussion sessions on Zoom. You can please learn more about this or sign up today in Robinson Lounge after the service. Extra. Put your commitment to our first principle into practice today. In the lounge after worship, you can send a holiday greeting to one of over 1,000 incarcerated UUs. This effort is organized by the Worthy Now Pen Pal program of the Church of the Larger Fellowship. We have pre-printed greeting and pre-addressed envelopes. You just write a short note, fold it, and stick it in the envelope. Please help us remind our incarcerated siblings that they are not forgotten this holiday season. That's today, after the service. A great way to pass along your extra 2024 calendars and recent magazines. I heard people asking about this. We're collecting colorful calendars, high-quality magazines for the Trenton Area Soup Kitchen. The donation deadline is Martin Luther King Sunday, January 14th. Collection boxes are in Robinson Lounge under the coat racks. We will deliver everything to task to share with their patrons. Did I get it all? Was the question? No, I didn't. There was one more, right? Sorry, guys. Okay. UUCP has been supporting the holiday gift program for Trenton foster families for many years. The gifts we have shared have made the season brighter for so many kids, including those newly entering state services during this time of year. This year so far, 50 families from our local communities have signed up for assistance, totaling 138 children. 25 are teens. So Instead of selecting a tag, we're asking those who wish to participate to bring an unwrapped gift for a child the age between toddler to 18 years old, December 10th for the hanging of the green service. If you have any questions, please contact Terry Hyatt. Okay. She's one of our members. You can ask around, you'll find her. So, lastly, our guest speaker this morning. I am not the usual minister if you're new here, just to let you know. We have a guest speaker, a guest minister. This morning is Reverend Jane Bennett Smith, minister of Channing Memorial Unitarian Universalist Church in Ellicott City, Maryland. Jane's first UU congregation was UU Princeton. She was an active and much loved member here until she began seminary at Meadville Lombard Theological School. She graduated in 2018. She was ordained in 2019 and has served Channing Memorial in Maryland ever since. She and Reverend Bill are swapping pulpits this morning. He is preaching down there and she's preaching up here, and it's great to welcome Jane back to her first UU home. Let's give her a round. Okay. And now for our chalice lighting. Okay. It is the church that assures us that we are not struggling for justice on our own, but as members of a larger community. The religious community is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see all that must be seen, and our strength too limited to do all that must be done. Together, our vision and our strength is renewed.
Spirit of love and life, source of all that is. May we center this moment in love, compassion, and reverence held by all that is. May we be reminded we are of a liberal faith, a questioning faith, a faith of love and hope and justice. A sacred community of souls held within the finites and the infinites. May we be reminded of the diverse journeys held in this space, made holy by our presence. For we are seekers, journeyers, spiritual travelers, held by what we hold sacred. May we welcome our holy into our midst in this space, in this hour, ushering in a time of introspection and curiosity, a moment to be vulnerable. May we pause in prayer, in silent meditation, in a moment of compassion and care, receiving all that is sacred and holy into our hearts, minds, and souls. May we know that in this moment, and every moment, we are wrapped in the love of all things sacred. Never alone, never lost, but one prayer away from the strength to persevere, one breath away from hope. From the Dhammapada, verse 183. Ceasing to do evil, cultivating the good, purifying the heart. This is the teaching of the Buddha.
Hello again. I'm happy to report that last Sunday after service, Reverend Bill and the Promotions Committee led the first very successful UU elevator speech workshop. And the turnout was great. There were 3 big takeaways. One, that this congregation is filled with people who love our faith and this congregation. 2, there is a desire among us to share UU with others. And 3, what many of us wish to convey, at least in part, is how UU defies common assumptions that many people today have about church and religion. My friends, like me, are wary of the terms church and religion. So I found that spirituality is a more palatable term for people like us. My UU elevator speech usually includes the phrase, a place for people like me who are spiritual but not religious. Now, I know that my friends get what I mean when I say that, but I thought about it and I realized I'm not 100% sure what that means. What do I really mean when I say that? So in preparation for today, I meditated a bit on what exactly spirituality means to me. For me, spirituality is a feeling. It feels like searching, not for truth or meaning or answers. It feels more like searching for a connection to something bigger, beyond, and more enduring than myself. Spirituality feels like ownership, as if I've been given a great gift, this one life. And with this life, a little part of the earth and its history has been placed into my hands. With ownership comes responsibility. So spirituality feels like a sense of responsibility for what is happening and where we are headed. I accept that I am in part responsible for this world, whether I like it or not. And I accept that we, humanity, have become fully responsible for this world, whether we feel we are deserving of it or not. Spirituality feels like a need to be engaged in this big experiment called human potential. Searching, connection, ownership, responsibility, engagement. That's great for a catchy acronym that you can take home. SCORE, S-C-O-R-E, right? Coined that. Now, in contemplating the term religion, I serendipitously came across reading number 580 in the back of our hymnal by Mark Morrison Reed, which you heard a bit of at the beginning of the service during the chalice lighting. I'll read it again. The central task of the religious community is to unveil the bonds that bind each to all. There is a connectedness, a relationship discovered amid the particulars of our own lives and the lives of others. Once felt, it inspires us to act for justice. It is the church that assures us that we are not struggling for justice on our own, but as members of a larger community. The religious community is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see all that must be seen, and our strength too limited to do all that must be done. Together, our vision and our strength is renewed. So in this light, religion and church, when freed from their historical baggage and the modern connotations, can simply mean spirituality in community. For the longest time, I was sure that church, religion, and faith were not areas in which a person like myself, a rational, modern, progressive, could find anything satisfying or useful. And I know that I'm not the only one to have this mindset. Unfortunately, despite being a rational, modern, progressive, the ugly parts of life and this world still overwhelm me at times, sparking pain, fear, pessimism, and despair deep within. I too can feel a void of suffering growing in me, and I too will grasp for things to ease that suffering. I feel so lucky that one of those times when I was grasping, it was this particular community, this spiritual, yet modern, rational, and progressive community, this palatable religious community that presented itself to me. Sometimes I think of the alternatives I might have turned to instead to fill that void of despair. What alternatives do others find? And then I think of our society's biggest problems today, the loneliness epidemic, rising rates of depression and suicide, the opioid crisis, religious fundamentalism, political polarization, nationalism, fascism, mainstream conspiracy theories, personality cults, unchecked consumerism, mass shootings. Today's sermon is about what it is that is universal in the faith traditions of the world. I believe one universal truth is that humanity is well served by being more spiritual, whether we like it or not. And that when a population's spirituality is neglected, we suffer collectively. So I'd like to preface Reverend Jane's sermon by asking you all to first consider how Unitarian Universalism stands apart from other faith traditions in its appeal to the modern day spirit. If, like me, you think this world could desperately use a spiritual renaissance right now, and if, like me, you think UU is a perfect starting point, then I beg you all to talk more openly with confidence about your own spirituality and about Unitarian Universalism, because it is a good faith and the world needs more of it. And now the time is right.
From John chapter 13, verse 34. A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so must you love one another. There are two ancient Buddhist tales that serve to articulate the meaning and purpose of faith. One likens faith to a gem. The story begins with an emperor's army passing through a stream, causing the water to become unsettled and rather chaotic. This special gem, once tossed into the destructive stream, suddenly settles the disturbed sand and silt, causing the body of water to quickly become clear and translucent again. What was turbulent, what was mucky and muddy, was now at calm and at peace. The second story offers a narration of a person poised at the edge of a riverbank, unable to judge whether or not it may be possible to leap over the deep and dangerous waters. In the next moment, a stranger approaches the riverbank and quickly and easily jumps over it. Watching the successful leap to the opposite shoreline created a deep confidence that reaching the other side of the torrent was indeed possible. What do these stories, these metaphors offer? Two characteristics of faith: the ability to invite a calm and settled mind, and the inspiration to persist and persevere no matter what hardships lie ahead. Let these stories invite us into a time of introspection. Let us pause to reflect. What do we gain when we welcome faith and spirituality into our lives? Peace and perseverance, yes. Reverence, awe, hope, compassion. Our journeys are unique and different in blessed ways, yet we are held together, and that we are guided towards strength, love, justice, and meaning-making. Faith invites myriad life-giving understandings of the sacred. Perhaps the awe-inspiring colors of a sunset, the sky transitioning from blue to orange to pink to black. Perhaps the divine is held in the interdependence of life, exemplified by the stardust that runs through each of our veins. Or as an entity offering unconditional love and unrestricted forgiveness. Perhaps we find faith in innumerable divine entities interacting with one another, their efforts reflected in the well-being of faith adherents. Metaphors I offer for the unknowable, the ineffable, the source of all that is, unique to each culture, each society, each faith tradition, welcoming into our lives just what we need to love. To Buddhists, faith offers clarity and perseverance, what I translate into my faith language as peace of mind and hope. In exploring the value of faith and all it offers, we don't simply ask what faith unconditionally and generously provides us with, but what we offer faith in return, what faith asks of us. For this is transformational as well. Faith calls for us to be vulnerable and submit to the unknown. It invites a life of intention, each action, sacred or profane, to be holy, good, well-intentioned, and loving. We are asked to engage in deep introspection, invited to question, who am I? Why am I? To both connect with what we hold within and engage with that which is well beyond. To foster an intimate relationship with that still small voice within, that spark of the divine, as well as to the great mystery which transcends all that is. In my work as a chaplain, as a minister, as a student of theology, faith, and myth, I have seen attachments with faith, a welcoming of the holy and all she offers, paramount during times of desperation and during times of awe. While I worked as a chaplain with those in health crises at a hospital, with the unhoused in an inner city of New Jersey, with teenagers in the midst of a battle with the evils of addiction and the woes of mental illness, despair was abundant, distress plentiful, and the sacred much needed. In my role, which I held blessed and purposeful each day, I was a vessel for that which is divine, and I believe you can be too. I was a vessel connecting with my own faith to react to the unique, tender, immediate, and desperate requests of each devastated soul. We united for just a moment on a journey towards and with that which is unknown, unknowable. At times, we sat and grasped hands, ushering into the intimate silence and pain-filled void, a moment of hope, offering a brief prayer for an aching soul to persist. Sometimes the suffering ones needed prayers of petition, asking the divine in humble and panicked tones for a successful surgery, a job, another day sober. Sometimes we simply invited solace and peace for one brief moment when caught in the throes of despair and anguish. Calm and presence, one might say. Perseverance and hope. A connection with all that is. Beauty and awe offer a profound welcome to the sacred as well. It is when that nature, that interdependence, that God or multiple deities we mentioned earlier expresses itself through the beauty and wonder that our senses can engage with. It is a gift and offering a moment of magic. It is the natural beauty of the vast sky sprinkled with stars stretching far above us. The acknowledgement that the moon we see is the same moon the natural world has witnessed since the dawn of consciousness, tying us all together. It is laughter. It is love. It is tangible joy. Beauty and awe. It is a connection to the love that saturates this planet we call home. It is the answer to a prayer. It is a moment of gratitude or hope. It is a moment to welcome and embrace all that is far greater than our own individual lives. Faith offers abundant hope, solace, love, persistence, and beauty, and we offer intention, introspection, and vulnerability in return. And yet, in order to foster this reciprocity, we are called to engage in spiritual practices that allow us to welcome the sacred into our hearts, minds, and bodies. For millennia, the faithful have engaged in practices of prayer, of meditation, of immersion in the natural world, practices that have stood the test of time. There are no prescribed attributes to prayer. It is but an intimate connection with the finite and the infinite. A pause for one's inner being to connect with the ultimate, the source of all that is. A moment, perhaps, of gratitude, of petition or request, of connection with the ancestors, of a moment to ask, why? A time to simply pause and fill one's heart with hope and love, to become a vessel oneself for all that is holy. Perhaps we welcome a time of peace and introspection through a practice of meditation, taking many forms, perhaps simply sitting with the breath. This calming presence allows us to access our inner selves, often hidden, cloaked behind anxiety and insecurity, to connect with that inner, always present, yet often concealed innate wisdom that we each hold within, allowing each of us to access our full selves, every piece of us, releasing that which leaves us dependent on the external, the material, to find and to connect with the divine within and the transcendent beyond, simply by pausing, focusing, releasing, and breathing. I mentioned earlier, too, finding what we hold divine through an immersion in nature. This may evoke prayer or serve as a practice of meditation. It can also elicit and initiate many of those characteristics inherent to a faithful life: appreciation, gratitude, hope, peace, inspiration, awe, found in the velvety darkness with what appears to be thousands of flickering fireflies. The slow transition from seed to sapling to towering oak, the plummeting depths of a canyon as water and sediment slowly carve through the rock. These are those individual, unique characteristics of faith we hold within, found between and within differing faith traditions here, specifically within Unitarian Universalism. What is universal to the faiths of the world? Buddhist scholar Rupert Gethin refers us back to those ancient tales we began with, arguing that a settled mind and the inspiration to keep persevering are the inherent goals of a faithful life. A calm mind and an ability to never give up. Gethin offers, in his interpretation of Buddhism, that if religious rituals and worship result in these two characteristics, they are valid. Buddhism offers another story, a story of finding commonality among a vast array of understandings of faith. The story offers that religion is akin to a group of blind people trying to understand an elephant. One grasps onto the tail and offers an elephant is like a paintbrush. Another holds a leg and exclaims, no, an elephant is like a tree. A third grasps the trunk and proclaims an elephant is like a great snake, and the confusion continues. The message? All faiths are different ways of understanding one ultimate truth, one unknowable, ineffable essence. We are inevitably bound by our limited worldly experiences, changing and morphing between continents and cultures. All we can do is pause and respect curiosity, love, and acceptance. Jewish scholar Bradley Shavat Artson offers that arguing which religion, which faith, which understanding of the sacred is correct or superior is a fruitless and harmful venture. There is no literal understanding of God's will or the will of any divine being. The ultimate truth is simply a metaphor. This ultimate is simply a metaphor for what I offered before. Quarrels over religious truths are inconsequential, harmful, and unnecessary. Faith, this Jewish scholar offers, is not one ultimate God, one creed, one doctrine, one way to worship, but that which lights us up, which illuminates the inherent love and goodness held within communities, cultures, and individuals alike. Religion is not a profession of one ultimate truth, nor can it claim to be. Instead, faith offers a way for each soul and each collection of souls to make sense of the world, to comprehend the incomprehensible. Religion serves to provide meaning, purpose, and offers followers questions to reflect on. Why am I here? What am I to do with this one precious life? Any life-giving faith, any religion worthy of followers fosters compassion, justice, and goodness. That is what inherently matters. So may we pause and reflect on what it means to be a person of faith. What beautiful, life-giving understandings of the sacred do we welcome into our midst? A person of faith is one who has hope, listening to that still, small voice within, that spark of the divine calling them to keep going. One who has love, caring with a full heart, mind, and soul for one another and the holy. One who has love, caring with a full heart and soul for one another and the holy. One who has compassion, seeing the fullness in each person centered in the work of justice. One who is vulnerable, connecting with something we can never fully understand. One who finds comfort in the sentiment that we are not alone. One who aspires to a calm mind, connecting with that innate goodness and wisdom within. Anyone who grasps but a bit of that expansive elephant and uses that limited understanding to better themselves and the world. So often faith and religion have been named to foster violence, opposition, and oppression. When I encounter such blasphemy, I think of the love that fostered the beginnings of each of the world's faith religions. Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, to name but a few of the prophets. What would these people, these holy people, offer our disjointed, oppositional world today? In all my inherent ignorance and wisdom, I believe it is a message of hope, love, and justice that we need. So may we be that message. May we go forth with all we hold sacred, each of us a force to heal those who are broken, to comfort the afflicted, to love the destitute. For that, my beloveds, is faith. May it be so, and amen. At the end of our hour, we have knowing that its light carries us until we gather again. Go forth grateful for the moments before you, the breath within you, the people among you, and the Spirit guiding you towards lives of greater love, beauty, and kindness. Go forth knowing that you are held always and always with neighbor and stranger by that great love of no beginning and never ending. Go in peace, and amen.